I raised her alone after her father died, put her through college, paid for her wedding, and for 30 years, I never missed a single one of her birthdays. Not one. But when I turned 65, a milestone birthday, the one I'd been quietly hoping would matter, they forgot. Completely forgot. No call, no text, nothing. And 2 weeks later, when my daughter called asking if I could help with her son's emergency medical bills, I said the same thing they said to me on my birthday. Absolutely nothing. Want to know what happened when that $18,000 bill went to collections? Before the story begins, subscribe and tell me where you're watching from. My name is Diane Foster. I'm 65 years old, and I've spent most of my life making sure everyone else was okay. I grew up middle class. Nothing special, nothing terrible. My parents were good people. My father worked for the post office. My mother was a teacher. They taught me that family comes first, that you show up for the people you love, that you sacrifice. I married young, 22. His name was Richard Foster. Rich. He was kind, hardworking, funny. We were happy. Really happy. The kind of happy that makes other people roll their eyes because you can't stop smiling at each other. We had one daughter, Sarah. Sarah Elizabeth Foster. She was born when I was 25, and from the moment I held her, she was my entire world. Dark curly hair like her father, blue eyes like me, a smile that could light up a room. Rich and I built a good life. He worked in insurance. I worked as a paralegal. We had a modest house in the suburbs. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. We went on family vacations, had barbecues with neighbors, went to Sarah's school events and dance recitals. It was ordinary, beautiful, perfect. Then, when Sarah was 8 years old, Rich died. Heart attack. Sudden. Massive. He was 35 years old. 1 minute he was mowing the lawn. The next minute, he was on the ground. And I was screaming for help. And paramedics were rushing in. And then he was just gone. I was 33, widowed, with an 8-year-old daughter, and a mortgage, and a life that had just shattered into a million pieces. The insurance money helped. Rich had been smart about that. But it wasn't enough to retire on. It was enough to keep us stable while I figured out how to breathe again. Sarah took it hard. She stopped smiling for almost a year, would cry at night, asking when Daddy was coming home. I'd hold her and lie, and say he was watching over us from heaven, even though I didn't believe in heaven anymore. But we survived. Somehow we survived. I threw myself into being both parents, worked full-time, went to every school event, helped with homework, made sure Sarah had everything she needed: ballet lessons, summer camps, birthday parties with all her friends. Her birthdays became sacred to me. After Rich died, I made a promise. Sarah would never feel forgotten, never feel alone. Every single birthday would be special, and I kept that promise. Every year, without fail, I made her birthday magical. When she was 9, I threw her a princess party. With a castle cake, I spent 2 days decorating. When she was 13 and going through her awkward phase, I took her and her 2 best friends to a spa day. When she was 16, I bought her the car she'd been dreaming about. A used Honda Civic, nothing fancy, but she cried when she saw it. "Mom, you're the best," she'd say every year. And I'd hug her and think, I'm just keeping my promise to your father. Sarah went to college, UC Santa Barbara. She wanted to be a teacher like her grandmother. I was so proud. The tuition was expensive. Even with scholarships and financial aid, there was a gap, a big gap. "Mom, maybe I should take a year off, work, save money," Sarah said. "Absolutely not. You're going to college on time." "But how?" "I'll figure it out." And I did. I took out loans, worked overtime, sold Rich's vintage record collection that I'd been keeping as a memory. Anything to make sure Sarah could focus on school without drowning in debt. She thrived at Santa Barbara, made friends, got good grades, found her passion in elementary education. And in her junior year, she met him, Kevin Walsh. He was in her sociology class. Tall, athletic, charming. He came from a big Irish Catholic family, 6 siblings. Loud, loving chaos. Sarah brought him home for Thanksgiving her senior year. "Mom, this is Kevin. Kevin, this is my mom, Diane." "It's great to meet you, Mrs. Foster," Kevin said, shaking my hand. "Sarah talks about you all the time." He was polite, friendly. I wanted to like him. But something about the way he looked at our modest house, our dated furniture, made me uneasy. Just a flicker of something in his eyes. Judgment? Disappointment? I told myself I was being paranoid. They got engaged a year after graduation. Sarah was ecstatic. "Mom, I'm getting married." "That's wonderful, honey. I'm so happy for you." And I was. Despite my unease about Kevin, I was happy that Sarah had found someone, that she wouldn't be alone. The wedding planning began, and that's when things got complicated. Kevin's family was overwhelming. His mother, Colleen, had opinions about everything. The venue, the flowers, the menu, the dress. "Dear, in our family, we always have the reception at St. Patrick's Hall," Colleen said at one of the planning meetings. "Oh, we were thinking maybe a garden venue," Sarah said hesitantly. "A garden? In March? What if it rains?" "We could have a tent." "Nonsense. St. Patrick's. Patrick's is tradition." I watched my daughter shrink, watched her defer, watched her lose herself in Kevin's family's traditions and expectations. "Sarah," I said later, when we were alone, "it's your wedding. You get to make the choices." "I know, Mom, but Kevin's family is so close, so involved. I don't want to upset them." "What about upsetting yourself?" "I'm not upset. I want everyone to be happy." The wedding ended up being everything Colleen wanted. St. Patrick's Hall, traditional Irish music, a menu of corned beef and potatoes. Sarah wore a dress Colleen helped pick out. Beautiful. But not the one Sarah had fallen in love with. I paid for half the wedding. $15,000. It was a chunk of my savings, but Sarah was my only daughter, my only child. I wanted her day to be special, even if it wasn't the day she'd originally dreamed of. At the reception, I watched Sarah and Kevin dance. They looked happy, and I thought, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this'll be good. They moved to San Diego. Kevin got a job in pharmaceutical sales. Sarah got hired at an elementary school. They bought a small condo. I visited every few months, called every week, sent care packages. Sarah's birthdays continued to be special. I'd drive down to San Diego, take her out for dinner, give her thoughtful gifts, make sure she felt celebrated. "Thanks, Mom," she'd say. "You always remember." "Of course I remember. You're my daughter." 3 years into their marriage, Sarah got pregnant. "Mom, I'm having a baby." My heart soared. "Oh, Sarah, that's wonderful." I was going to be a grandmother. After years of it being just me and Sarah, our family was growing. The pregnancy was rough. Sarah had terrible morning sickness, was exhausted constantly. Kevin's family descended, his mother especially, offering advice, taking over, making decisions. I tried to be helpful without being intrusive. Sent her ginger tea for nausea. Called to check in, offered to come help. "Kevin's mom is staying with us right now," Sarah said. "But maybe later?" Later never came. The baby was born in November, a boy. They named him James, James Richard Walsh. Richard, after Sarah's father, my husband. I cried when Sarah told me. "You gave him Rich's name?" "Of course, Mom. Dad should be remembered." I drove to San Diego the day after James was born. Brought flowers, gifts, food. Kevin's entire family was there. All 6 siblings, both parents, cousins. The hospital room was packed. "Diane," Colleen said when she saw me. "Come meet baby James." She was holding him. Had been holding him for who knows how long. I waited and waited. Finally, after 30 minutes, I got to hold my grandson for maybe 5 minutes before someone else wanted a turn. I drove home that night feeling like a stranger at my own daughter's celebration. The pattern continued. Kevin's family was always there, always involved. First birthday, first Christmas, first steps. I was invited, but I was peripheral, the extra, the add-on. "Mom, can you come for James's first birthday?" Sarah asked. Of course. I drove down, brought an expensive gift, a wooden toy kitchen I'd spent weeks researching. The party was full of Kevin's family. His mother had organized everything: the cake, the decorations, the games. "Oh, how nice," Colleen said when she saw my gift. "We already have 2 toy kitchens, but I'm sure we can find room for another." I spent the party sitting in a corner, watching my grandson play with Kevin's family while I was forgotten. But I told myself it was fine. As long as Sarah was happy, as long as James was loved. My birthdays became quieter. After Rich died, birthdays had lost their magic for me anyway. Sarah would usually call, send a card. Sometimes we'd have dinner. Nothing elaborate, but she'd remember. That's what mattered. When I turned 60, Sarah threw me a small party. Just us, Kevin, baby James. It was nice, simple, sweet. "Happy birthday, Mom," Sarah said, hugging me. "I love you. I love you too, honey." The years passed. James grew. Sarah had another baby, a daughter named Emma. I continued being the peripheral grandmother, the one who sent gifts and cards, but rarely got to visit because Kevin's family was always there, always taking up space. "Mom, can you come for Emma's baptism?" Sarah asked. I wouldn't miss it. The baptism was another Walsh family extravaganza. I sat in the back of the church, watched from a distance. At the reception, Colleen gave a long speech about family and tradition and faith. She didn't mention me once. I went home and cried. But I didn't say anything. Because I didn't want to be the difficult mother, the demanding mother-in-law, the problem. I just wanted to be included. Last year, I turned 64. Sarah called on my birthday. "Happy birthday, Mom. Sorry we can't come up. James has a soccer tournament all weekend." "That's okay, honey. Have fun. We'll celebrate next time I see you." We didn't. Next time I saw her, she didn't mention it. But it was fine. Birthdays didn't matter that much anyway. Then came this year. I was turning 65, a milestone, the big one, Medicare, official senior citizen status. The age when you're supposed to reflect on your life, your accomplishments, your legacy. I didn't want a party, didn't need a fuss. But I hoped, quietly, privately hoped, that my daughter would remember, would call, would acknowledge this milestone. I dropped hints in our phone calls the month before. "Can you believe I'm going to be 65 next month?" I said casually. "Wow, really? That's crazy, Mom." "Yeah, time flies. It really does." A week before my birthday, I mentioned it again. My birthday's next week. The big 6-5. "Oh, right. I'll have to check our calendar." My birthday was on a Saturday. I woke up that morning with a weird flutter of hope in my chest. Maybe she'd surprise me. Maybe she'd drive up with the kids. Maybe they'd planned something. I checked my phone. No messages. I made coffee. Checked again. Nothing. By noon, I started to worry. Maybe something was wrong. Maybe Sarah was sick or there was an emergency. I called her. It went to voicemail. I texted, "Hey, honey, Just checking in. Hope you're having a good day. No response. A day dragged on. I tried to distract myself. Went for a walk, read a book, made myself a nice dinner. By evening, I was refreshing my phone every 5 minutes. Nothing. At 10 p.m., I went to bed. My 65th birthday. Completely forgotten. I cried myself to sleep. The next morning, Sunday, Sarah finally called. "Hey, Mom. Sorry I missed your call yesterday. We were at James's soccer tournament, and it was chaos. My throat was tight. Sarah, do you know what day yesterday was?" Saturday? It was my birthday. Silence. Then, "Oh my God, Mom, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot." "You forgot?" "We've just been so busy. James's team made playoffs, and Emma had a science project due, and Kevin's been traveling for work." "You forgot my 65th birthday." "Mom, I'm really sorry. I'll make it up to you. We'll come visit soon, okay?" "Sure." "Mom, don't be like that." "I'm not being like anything. I have to go." I hung up, and I sat in my quiet house and thought about every birthday I'd made special for her. Every cake I'd baked. Every party I'd planned. Every single year, for 37 years, I'd remembered, and she forgot mine. 2 weeks later, Sarah called again. "Mom, I need to talk to you about something." "Okay." James had an accident. He broke his arm pretty badly. Had to have surgery. Pins and everything. "Oh no. Is he okay?" "He's fine now. But, Mom, the medical bills are insane. Our insurance covered most of it, but we still owe $18,000 out of pocket." $18,000. That's a lot. I know. And we're kind of tapped out. We just redid the kitchen, and Kevin's car needed a new transmission, and we're maxed out on credit cards. I waited. "Mom, do you think you could help? I know it's a lot, but we're kind of desperate." $18,000 for the daughter who forgot my birthday. "I'll think about it," I said. "Mom, please. We really need help. I wouldn't ask if we weren't desperate." I said I'll think about it. We hung up, and I sat there, staring at my phone, and something inside me finally broke. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed thinking about that phone call, about the $18,000, about my forgotten birthday. Part of me wanted to help immediately. She was my daughter. James was my grandson. Of course I should help. But another part of me, a part that had been quietly growing for years, was furious. Furious that she'd forgotten my birthday. Furious that I was only called when money was needed. Furious that I'd spent decades sacrificing and showing up and being there, and none of it seemed to matter. The next morning, I called my best friend Linda. "Di, everything okay?" I told her everything. The forgotten birthday, the medical bill, the years of feeling peripheral. Linda was quiet for a long moment. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know. Part of me wants to help, but part of me is tired of being taken for granted." "Yes." "Then don't help." "What?" "Don't help. Not right away. Make her wait. Make her remember that you're not just a bank. You're her mother." "That feels cruel." "Is it crueler than forgetting your mother's 65th birthday?" I didn't have an answer. Over the next few days, Sarah called twice more. I let both calls go to voicemail. "Mom, please call me back. We really need to know about the money. The hospital is sending bills to collections if we don't pay by the end of the month." I felt guilty, but I also felt powerful. For the first time in decades, I wasn't immediately jumping to fix someone else's problem. A week after Sarah's first call, she showed up at my house. I opened the door, and there she was. She looked terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, stress written all over her face. "Mom, Can I come in? I stepped aside. We sat in my living room. The same living room where we'd celebrated her birthdays, where she'd opened Christmas presents, where we'd grieved her father together. Mom, why haven't you called me back? I've been busy. Too busy to respond to your daughter? The irony wasn't lost on me. Yes, too busy. She looked hurt. Mom, what's going on? This isn't like you, isn't it? You forget my birthday and 2 weeks later ask me for $18,000. Maybe you don't know what I'm like anymore. That's not fair. I apologized for the birthday thing. Did you? Because I don't remember an actual apology. I remember excuses. Mom, when was the last time you visited me, Sarah? Just to visit. Not because you needed something. She looked down. I don't know. A few months? Try 10 months. The last time you were here was last Christmas, and you stayed for 3 hours because Kevin's family was having dinner, and you didn't want to miss it. We were trying to see everyone, and I'm always last, always the afterthought, always peripheral to Kevin's big, loud family. That's not true, isn't it? When was the last time I was invited to a Sunday dinner? When was the last time I got to spend time with James and Emma without Kevin's family taking over? She didn't answer. You forgot my birthday, Sarah. My 65th birthday. The milestone. And you didn't even realize until I told you. I said I was sorry. Sorry isn't enough this time. Her eyes filled with tears. So you're punishing me by refusing to help with James's medical bills? I'm not punishing you. I'm just not immediately fixing your problem. But James is your grandson, and I'm your mother, and you forgot me. We stared at each other. Years of resentment bubbling to the surface. I can't believe you're making this about you when my son needs help, Sarah said coldly. Your son, not our family, not us. Your son, Kevin's son, the Walsh family's son. Where do I fit, Sarah? You're being ridiculous. Am I? Tell me, if Kevin's mother had a milestone birthday, would you forget? She flushed. That's different. How? She's very involved. And I'm not, or am I just not allowed to be? No one's stopping you from being involved. Really? Because every time I try, Kevin's family is already there, taking up all the space, making all the decisions, and you let them. That's not fair. Kevin's family is just enthusiastic. And I'm just forgotten. Sarah stood up. I came here hoping you'd help, hoping you'd be the mother you've always been. But apparently, that mother doesn't exist anymore. The mother I've always been enabled you to take me for granted. Maybe it's time for a different kind of mother. Fine. We'll figure it out ourselves. She grabbed her purse. I hope your birthday grudge was worth destroying our relationship. She slammed the door on her way out. I sat there, shaking, wondering if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. But I also felt something I hadn't felt in years. Respect for myself. 3 days later, I got a text from Kevin. Diane, Sarah told me what happened. I'm disappointed. We're family. Family helps each other. I stared at that text for a full minute. Then I replied, family also remembers birthdays. He didn't respond. A week passed. The guilt was eating me alive. Every time I thought about James with his broken arm, about the medical bills, about Sarah's stress, I wanted to cave, to write the check, to be the fixer. But I didn't. Linda called to check on me. How are you holding up? Terribly. I feel like the worst mother in the world. You're not. You're setting a boundary. It doesn't feel like a boundary. It feels like cruelty. Is it cruel to want to be valued? I don't know anymore. Another week passed. Then I got a call from Colleen, Kevin's mother. Diane, we need to talk. Oh no. Hello, Colleen. I heard about the situation with James's medical bills. Did you? Sarah is my daughter-in-law. Kevin is my son. Those children are my grandchildren. And I won't stand by while family suffers because of some petty grudge. My blood pressure spiked. Petty grudge? Over a forgotten birthday? Really, Diane? You're going to let a child suffer over something so trivial? Trivial? My 65th birthday is trivial. Compared to a child's medical needs? Yes. I took a deep breath. Colleen, with all due respect, this isn't about you. It is when my family is suffering. Your family, not our family. Your family. What's that supposed to mean? It means you've spent the last 12 years taking over. Every holiday, every birthday, every milestone. You've pushed me to the sidelines while you play Grandmother of the Year. I have not. Yes, you have, and Sarah has let you. And now she's surprised that I'm not jumping to help when I've been treated like a stranger for over a decade. You're being dramatic, and you're being blind. But thank you for calling. It's clarified a lot for me. I hung up. My hands were shaking. I'd never stood up to Colleen before. Never asserted myself. It felt terrifying and exhilarating. That night, I got a long text from Sarah. Mom, I've been thinking a lot, and I realize you're right. I have taken you for granted. I have let Kevin's family take over. I have forgotten that you've been there for me my entire life, while I've barely been there for you. I'm sorry, truly, deeply sorry, not just for forgetting your birthday, but for years of making you feel secondary. But Mom, James is in pain. The hospital is threatening collections. We're terrified of what this will do to our credit. Please, I'm not asking as your daughter who forgot your birthday. I'm asking as a mother who's scared for her child. Please, help us. I read that text 10 times. She was right about one thing. She had taken me for granted. But was she right to ask? Was I wrong to withhold help? I called Linda again. She's apologizing, really apologizing. That's good. But she's still asking for the money. Of course she is. She's desperate. What do I do? What do you want to do? I thought about it, really thought about it. I want to help. I've always wanted to help. But I also want to natter. I want to be valued. I want her to show up for me the way I've shown up for her. Then tell her that. I texted Sarah back. I will help with the medical bills, but not all of it. I'll cover $10,000. You and Kevin need to figure out the rest. And in exchange, I want something from you. I want you to show up, really show up. I want weekly phone calls that aren't just logistics. I want monthly visits. I want to be included in James and Emma's lives the way Colleen is. I want to matter. If you can agree to that, I'll send the check tomorrow. I hit send and waited. 30 minutes later, she called. Mom, thank you. Really, thank you. And yes, to all of it. You deserve all of that and more. Do you mean it? Or are you just saying what I want to hear? I mean it. I've been a terrible daughter. I'm going to do better. Okay, I'll wire the money tomorrow. Thank you, Mom. I love you. I love you too, honey. We hung up. And I sat there, hoping I'd made the right choice. I wired Sarah the $10,000 the next morning. She called immediately. Mom, thank you so much. You have no idea what this means. I have some idea. We'll pay you back, I promise. Don't make promises you can't keep. I mean it. Kevin and I are already working out a budget. We'll pay you back within 2 years. Okay. And Mom, I'm serious about the other stuff too. About showing up. About being better. I hope so. 2 weeks passed. No phone call. 3 weeks. Nothing. A month after I sent the money, I texted Sarah. Just checking in. How's Tame's arm healing? She responded 5 hours later. Good. Thanks for asking. Sorry been so busy. That was it. No phone call. No visit. Nothing about the promises she'd made. I felt my heart sink. She'd gotten what she needed. And now I was forgotten again. I called her. She didn't answer. I texted, Sarah, we need to talk. Can't right now, at Emma's ballet recital. I'll call you later. She didn't call later. 3 days later, I drove to San Diego unannounced. I showed up at her house at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Her car was in the driveway. Kevin's car was gone. I rang the doorbell. Sarah answered in pajamas. Mom, what are you doing here? You wouldn't answer my calls, so here I am. I told you I've been busy. It's been a month, Sarah. A month since I gave you $10,000 and you promised to show up. Where have you been? I'm sorry. Things have just been crazy. Too crazy for a phone call? Too crazy to follow through on a promise? She sighed. Mom, come in. Let's not do this on the porch. I walked in. The house was a mess. Toys everywhere, dishes in the sink, laundry piled on the couch. Coffee? She offered. No. I want an explanation. She sat down heavily. Mom, I meant what I said. I really did. But then we got home, and Kevin was stressed about money, and James needed physical therapy for his arm, and Emma started struggling in school, and I got overwhelmed. So you broke your promise. I didn't break it. I just haven't fulfilled it yet. That's the same thing. Mom, please. You're not being fair. I'm not being fair? My voice rose. I gave you $10,000 I couldn't really afford, based on a promise that you'd be a better daughter. And you've done nothing. That's not true. I've been thinking about you. Thinking about me isn't the same as showing up. I've been busy. So have I. But I still showed up for you. For 37 years, I showed up. Every birthday, every milestone, every crisis. Where have you been? I'm here now. I'm raising your grandchildren. What more do you want? I want what Colleen gets. The words exploded out of me. I want Sunday dinners and daily phone calls and to be the first person you call with news instead of the last. I want to matter, Sarah. You do matter. Then act like it. We were both crying now. I don't know how to do both, Sarah whispered. How to be a good daughter and a good mother and a good wife. There's not enough of me. Then you have to choose, and you've chosen Kevin's family over me, over and over again. Because they're here. They're available. They don't make me feel guilty for not being enough. That stopped me cold. I make you feel guilty? Yes. Every time we talk, there's this weight. This expectation that I'm supposed to be this perfect daughter. But I'm drowning, Mom. I'm barely keeping my head above water. So asking you to call once a week is too much? When you say it like that, no. But it doesn't feel like just a phone call. It feels like a test I'm failing. I sat down, suddenly exhausted. I don't want you to feel tested, I just want you to want to call me. I do want to. But you don't actually do it. No, she admitted. I don't. We sat in silence. Why did you really ask for the money? I finally asked. Was it just because you needed it? Or did part of you think it would fix things between us? She looked away. Both. Money doesn't fix relationships, Sarah. I know, but I thought if you helped, it would show you still cared, still loved me, despite me being a terrible daughter. I do still love you. That's not the question. The question is whether you love me back. Of course I do. Then show me, not with words, with actions. The front door opened. Kevin walked in carrying groceries. He stopped when he saw me. Diane, I didn't know you were coming. I didn't announce it. He looked between me and Sarah. Everything okay? No, I said. Everything is not okay. Kevin set down the groceries. What's going on? Your wife made me promises in exchange for $10,000. She hasn't kept them, he frowned. What promises? That she'd call weekly, visit monthly, include me in the kids' lives. Kevin looked at Sarah. You promised that? Yes, she said quietly. And you haven't been doing it? I've been busy. Sarah. Kevin's voice was surprisingly firm. Your mom gave us 10 grand. The least you can do is call her. I was shocked. Kevin was defending me. I know, Sarah said. I know I should. I keep putting it off. Why? Kevin asked. Because every conversation feels like I'm disappointing her. Like I'm never enough. Kevin looked at me. Is that true? I thought about it. Maybe. I don't mean to make her feel that way, but maybe I do. This is complicated, Kevin said. But here's what I know. My mom is over here constantly. She's involved in every detail of our lives. Sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes I wish she'd back off. Sarah looked surprised. You've never said that. Because she's my mom. But Diane is right. We've let my family take over. And we've pushed your mom out. That's not fair. So what do we do? Sarah asked. Kevin looked at me. Diane, what do you actually want? Not what you think you should want. What do you really want? I took a deep breath. I want to feel like I'm part of this family. I want to see my grandchildren more than twice a year. I want my daughter to call me because she wants to talk to me, not because she needs something. I want what I had before Kevin's family took over. That's fair, Kevin said. Sarah, she was crying. I don't know if I can give you what you had before. I'm not the same person I was before kids, before Kevin's family, before all of this. I'm not asking you to be who you were. I'm asking you to make room for me in who you are now. What if I can't? What if I'm not capable of being the daughter you need? Then I need to accept that. And you need to accept that I won't keep sacrificing for someone who doesn't value me. The words hung in the air. So the money was conditional, Sarah said bitterly. You gave it with strings attached. Yes, I did. Because I'm tired of giving and getting nothing back. That's not love. Neither is forgetting your mother's birthday and only calling when you need money. Sarah stood up. I think you should go. Sarah, Kevin started. No, she's right. I'm not the daughter she wants. I'm never going to be. So maybe it's better if we just don't. My heart broke. Don't what? Don't pretend anymore. Don't force a relationship that clearly isn't working. Sarah, that's not what I want. Yes, it is. You want me to be someone I'm not. You want me to prioritize you over my husband and my kids and my sanity. And I can't do that. I'm not asking you to prioritize me over them. I'm asking you to include me with them. It's the same thing to me. Kevin stepped between us. Okay, everyone needs to calm down. Sarah, you're being unfair. Your mom isn't asking for the moon. She's asking for basic respect. Whose side are you on? Sarah demanded. I'm on the side of not destroying our family over pride. Sarah laughed bitterly. Rich, coming from you. Your mother is here every single day, but that's fine. That's normal. But my mom wants a weekly phone call, and suddenly I'm a terrible daughter. You're not a terrible daughter, I said quietly. But you're not being a good one either. She flinched. I'm leaving, I said. But Sarah, I want you to think about something. When I'm gone, really gone, not just forgotten, but dead, are you going to regret this? Are you going to wish you'd tried harder? Don't do that. Don't guilt-trip me with death. I'm not guilt-tripping you. I'm asking you to think about the future. Because I'm 65. I don't have forever. I walked to the door, stopped, turned back. I love you, Sarah. I've always loved you. But I won't keep begging for scraps of your attention. So you decide. Do you want me in your life or not? Really in your life, not just as the emergency bank account. I left, drove home crying so hard I had to pull over twice. When I got home, I called Linda. I think I just ended my relationship with my daughter. What happened? I told her everything. Oh, Di. Did I do the right thing? I don't know, but you did the honest thing. That doesn't make me feel better. It's not supposed to. 3 weeks passed. No contact from Sarah. I tortured myself checking her social media. She posted pictures of the kids, of family dinners with Kevin's parents, of James's arm healing. I wasn't in any of them. I wanted to reach out, to apologize, to take it all back, but I didn't, because Linda was right. I'd done the honest thing. And if Sarah couldn't handle honesty, then maybe our relationship was already broken. On the 4th week, I got a letter in the mail. From Sarah. Handwritten. Dear Mom, I've been avoiding you because I didn't know what to say. I'm still not sure I do, but I'm going to try. You were right. About all of it. I have taken you for granted. I have let Kevin's family take over. I have treated you like an ATM instead of my mother. I've been in therapy, talking about all of this. And my therapist asked me something that broke me. When was the last time you did something for your mother without her having to ask? I couldn't remember, Mom. I literally could not remember the last time I showed up for you without you initiating it. That's when I realized I'm not the daughter you deserve. I'm not even the daughter I want to be. I don't know if I can change overnight. I don't know if I can suddenly become the person who calls every week and visits every month. But I want to try. If you're willing to give me another chance, a real chance, not based on promises I might not keep, I'd like to start over. No expectations, no conditions, just two people trying to rebuild something broken. I love you, Mom. I'm sorry it took me so long to show it. Love, Sarah. I read that letter 5 times, then I called her. She answered on the first ring. Mom, I got your letter. And I think starting over sounds good. She exhaled shakily. Really? Really. But Sarah, I need you to understand something. Starting over means we both have to change, not just you. What do you mean? I mean, maybe I've been holding on too tight. Maybe I've been expecting you to be the daughter I needed when you were 8 and I was grieving your father. But you're not 8 anymore. You're a grown woman with your own life. Mom, let me finish. I need to accept that you have a husband and kids and in-laws who are demanding. And you need to accept that I'm your mother and I deserve more than forgotten birthdays and emergency phone calls. I can do that. Can you? Really? I want to try. Then let's try. No promises, no conditions. Just effort. Okay. We talked for an hour. Really talked. About her stress, my loneliness, Kevin's family, our expectations, everything. It wasn't perfect. There were painful moments, uncomfortable truths, but it was real. The next weekend, Sarah drove up to visit. Just her and the kids. Kevin stayed home. I told him I needed to do this alone, she explained. We spent the day together. Took James and Emma to the park. Made cookies. Watched a movie. At one point, Emma climbed into my lap. Grandma, I missed you. My heart swelled. I missed you too, sweetheart. Before they left, Sarah hugged me tight. Thank you for not giving up on me, she whispered. Thank you for coming back. That was 4 months ago. Since then, Sarah calls every week. Not every single week. Sometimes she misses one. But she tries. Really tries. She's visited 3 times. Invited me to Sunday dinner twice. It's not perfect. Kevin's family is still more involved. Sarah is still stretched thin and stressed. But I'm included now. I'm part of things. Last month, Sarah called out of the blue. Mom, what are you doing November 15th? Nothing. Why? Because it's your birthday. And we're throwing you a party. A real one. The whole family. I started crying. Sarah, I know I can't give you back the birthday I forgot. But I can make sure I never forget again. The party was beautiful. Sarah planned everything. Invited my friends. Kevin's family. Everyone. Colleen even apologized. Diane, I didn't realize I'd been crowding you out. I'm sorry. Thank you, Colleen. It wasn't a complete transformation. Kevin's mother still dominates sometimes. Sarah still forgets to call occasionally. But it's better, so much better. Yesterday, Sarah texted me a photo. It was a calendar with my name written on every Sunday in March. Weekly calls. I'm putting them in my calendar so I don't forget. Love you, Mom. I texted back. Love you too, honey. Am I glad I withheld the money? I don't know. It forced a reckoning. It broke us apart so we could rebuild healthier. But it also hurt. Both of us. Deeply. Would I do it again? I honestly don't know. What I do know is this. I'm 65 years old. I spent decades sacrificing without boundaries, without expecting anything in return. And it nearly destroyed my relationship with my daughter. Now I'm learning, slowly, imperfectly, how to love her without losing myself. Some days are good. Some days I still feel forgotten. But I'm not invisible anymore. And that's worth everything. So here's what I need to know. If your child forgot your milestone birthday and then asked you for $18,000, what would you do? Would you pay immediately? Would you refuse completely? Or would you do what I did and make it conditional? Tell me in the comments, because I'm still not sure if I made the right choice.